with that, let's now shift focus over to Taiwan. Taiwanese presidential polls are round the corner. More than 19 million Taiwanese voters will go to the presidential polls on 13th of January. It's being touted as an election that is expected to shape cross-strait relations as well as US-China relations. And as expected, how to deal with China remains at the center of every election campaign. And as of now, the presidential election is turning out to be a tight race between the ruling DPP's candidate ching-te, KMT's Ho Yu-e and Ko Wen-je from the TPP. Currently, ching-te from the independence-leaning DPP is ahead in the polls. I bring you a report.
As Taiwan prepares to vote in the presidential and parliamentary elections next month, polls reveal deep divisions between generations towards its relationship with China. At this government-run veterans' care home in northern Taiwan, this former soldier's chest tattoo of the island's flag carries the complexities of those ties. Wang Zhiquan, who is 93, joined the Chinese army when he was only 13 and holds tragic memories of war.
I still dare not watch the news when I watch TV. War is cruel and cold. When I started serving as a soldier, people were forced to enlist during the civil war between the Kuomintang and the Communist Party. When they couldn't catch adults, they would catch children.
Defeated in the Chinese Civil War, the nationalist Kuomintang government fled to Taiwan 7 decades ago, but no peace treaty was ever signed to end the war. China's communist government has since been pushing for what it calls reunification with Taiwan and has ramped up its military pressure against the island in the past few years, stoking fears of a war that could drag in the United States. Those tensions are dominating election campaigns in the run-up to Taiwan's January 13th ballot. The ruling Democratic Progressive Party champions the island's separate identity from China. But despite moving to Taiwan and later fighting for its island of Kinmen, Wang's sense of identity remains tied to China.
Taiwan is a part of China. It has been since the Qing and Ming dynasties.
It's a view shared by many from his generation, like fellow care home resident Sun Guoxi. The 110-year-old veteran believes his current government is being provocative. He warns that if a conflict breaks out, the island would be no match for China. Yet their views conflict with mainstream Taiwan, who overwhelmingly view themselves as Taiwanese and not Chinese, according to polls.
So no matter what the election outcome, it is bound to impact the future of Taiwan, especially its relationship with China. And let's try and get a sense of perspective in terms of what is in store for Taiwan. And for that, let me introduce my guests today. I'm joined in by Dr. Roger Liu, who's the Associate Professor at Flame University. Also joined in by Bishop Garrison, who's a Senior Fellow at the National Security Institute at George Mason University's Law School. Dr. Roger, if I could begin with you first, would you agree that this presidential poll is going to be Taiwan's most consequential election? Many foreign policy experts have said that this is also one that's going to impact the status quo for Taiwan.
Well, this is actually not the first time. If you remember, in 1996, actually, this is the first time that the Chinese government and the CCP had tried to influence the result of the Taiwanese election, while the pro-independence, as they claim, the KMT candidate Li Denghui was running for the president. Actually, China wanted to stop him from being elected. So they staged a large-scale military exercise near the Taiwan Strait by blockading Taiwan de facto. But the final result actually is the Taiwanese people chose the person they didn't want. So China has been learning to act in a smart way in recent years, and they have been trying to keep strategic pressures around the Taiwan Strait, as most of the people have been seeing. But this time, I think there's a close call between the number one and number two. So the Taiwanese people actually are talking about this recently. So I think it's going to be a tense election, but people will have learned to keep calm and, keep their daily life going on.
All right. That's a very interesting point that you're making, Dr. Liu, in terms of China's presence in this entire election. And that is something that I also want to touch upon. And that's why I'm going to request you and Bishop to continue staying with me, because let's play out the reaction of Taiwan's foreign minister. Remember, in an exclusive interview with our managing editor, Zaka Jacob, Taiwan's foreign minister has accused China of election intervention. Listen in to this exclusive excerpt.
Yeah, there will be 40 elections, including India. Yeah, that's right. And we are looking at the Chinese election interference very closely. Mm-hmm. If they are successful in interfering in our election, I'm sure they're going to apply the same tactics against other countries, against other democracies. And next week, I will, hold a international press briefings to document China's election interference, so that the international community know what China is about to our democratic elections. And that is something that you probably want to keep an eye on too.